Right now, 90% of Americans couldn't survive 3 days without electricity. Not because they lack money, but because they lack 15 items that cost less than a cup of coffee. While your neighbors scroll through their phones, completely unprepared, you're about to discover the Walmart items that separate survivors from statistics. In the next several minutes, you'll learn exactly which shelf-price items transform an ordinary home into a survival fortress when the grid goes dark. These aren't luxury prepper gadgets. These are the proven tools that saved lives during Hurricane Maria, Hurricane Sandy, and every major blackout in modern history. The question isn't if the grid will fail, it's whether you'll be ready when it does. Welcome to Crisis Horizon, where we cut through the noise and show you exactly how to prepare for what's coming. If you value practical survival knowledge over panic, hit that like button and subscribe, because what you're about to learn could save your life. Now let's dive into the 15 items you need to grab before everyone else figures this out. Let's start with something you've probably walked past 100 times without a second thought: cast iron cookware. When electricity vanishes and your modern appliances become dead weight, cast iron stands alone. Unlike those non-stick pans that require perfectly regulated heat, cast iron thrives on open flames, gas grills, or even the coals of a collapsed building. Its heat retention is pure survival mathematics. Sear your meat once, and the pan stays hot enough to cook vegetables or bread with zero extra fuel. But here's what most people don't realize. Cast iron doesn't just cook your food, it makes it more nutritious. It leaches dietary iron directly into whatever you're preparing, which becomes a critical advantage when anemia and malnutrition spike during long emergencies. During the Great Depression, families traded hot meals cooked in cast iron for work favors or protection. That's the kind of value we're talking about. Add a Dutch oven to your setup, and you've got an oven, a stew pot, and a bread baker all in one bomb-proof container. While stainless steel warps, aluminum dents, and Teflon flakes away, cast iron lasts for centuries. In a collapse scenario, your cookware isn't just a tool. It's the difference between a hot, safe meal and parasites that can kill you in a week. Now let's talk about shelter, because a roof isn't permanent in a disaster. Storms rip shingles off houses, windows shatter, and exposure becomes deadly faster than most people realize. A $20 heavy-duty tarp is survival gold, waterproof, UV-resistant, and incredibly versatile. After Hurricane Ian, households that threw tarps over their destroyed roofs had 80% less water damage than those who didn't. 80%. That's not a small difference. That's the difference between salvaging your home and losing everything to mold and rot. But tarps do so much more than patch roofs. They become ground sheets, transform into makeshift tents, and can even be folded into solar stills for water collection. Layer 2 tarps together, and you've got a waterproof shelter that can protect an entire family. The grommets let you lash them to poles or trees, creating a shield against hypothermia that could save your life in the first 72 hours. Here's what the military figured out decades ago. Flip the camo side outward, and you vanish from aerial surveillance. In a grid-down scenario where you might need to stay hidden, that single tarp becomes your invisibility cloak. In barter terms, a single tarp equals a month of protection. Without shelter, you're dead in 3 nights. With a tarp, you've bought yourself a fortress in a bag. Next up, we need to talk about something nobody wants to discuss, but everyone needs to prepare for: sanitation. Forget Hollywood zombies. The real killer after grid collapse is sewage. CDC studies show that exposure to raw sewage causes massive spikes in hepatitis K and norovirus outbreaks. When toilets stop flushing, your house becomes a biohazard in less than 48 hours. 48 hours. That's how fast your bathroom becomes a disease factory. A $6 bucket with a $12 toilet seat lid and some trash bags becomes a portable latrine that seals waste and slows disease spread to basically zero. Add cat litter or sawdust after each use, and you've got additional protection against contamination. But these buckets aren't just for sanitation. They're multi-use survival tools. They haul water, store rice, carry firewood, and serve as wash basins. Drill some holes in one and add a stick, and you've got yourself a manual washing machine. In disaster scenarios, buckets are civilization condensed into a single cheap item. Aid groups in Haiti reported that latrines were more valuable than bottled water because proper sanitation kept cholera at bay. For under $20, you've bought waste control, water hauling, food storage, and trade leverage all in a simple container. Now here's something fundamental. Civilization is literally held together by rope. Military branches issue 550 paracord specifically for its versatility. 100 feet of it supports 550 pounds, and the inner strands can be pulled out and used for fishing line, sewing thread, or trap wire. This isn't an exaggeration. Rope rigs shelters, drags heavy loads, secures food from animals, and can improvise stretchers for injured people. But you need more than just paracord. Jute twine doubles as fire tinder when you need it. Bungee cords lash gear down tight. Duct tape repairs shelters and can act as an emergency bandage. Zip ties provide instant fastening power for everything from securing doors to bundling firewood. And wire? Wire is perfect for snares, makeshift handles, or emergency repairs on just about anything. During Hurricane Sandy, households with rope and fastening gear secured their windows, lashed tarps over damaged roofs, and improvised pulley systems to solve problems. Their neighbors, they waited for help that never came. Rope isn't optional. It's the backbone of survival. Stock up on every type of cordage and fastening material you can get your hands on. Because when you need it, you'll need it desperately. Let's talk about security. Because here's an uncomfortable truth. Law enforcement collapses faster than the power grid. After 3 days without power, cities run out of fuel for patrol cars, and looting skyrockets. Homes with weak locks become prime targets for desperate people looking to take whatever they can. Walmart's $15 deadbolts and $20 padlocks are more valuable than electronics when the grid goes down. Steel key locks never need charging, never need batteries, and can't be hacked. Add a $10 door bar brace or a $5 hasp for your sheds, and you've bought yourself a time buffer that criminals absolutely hate. Here's the thing about burglars. Most of them abandon their attempts if it takes longer than 60 seconds to break in. They don't want to fight. They want easy targets. So layer your defenses, use decoy locks, reinforce your hardware, add window security film, and brace your doors with whatever scrap metal you can find. This isn't just about physical security, it's about morale. Fortifying your home turns panic into confidence. You stop feeling like a victim waiting to be robbed and start feeling like someone who controls their own space. After Hurricane Maria, households that hardened their doors and locks preserved their food, water, and medicine, while others lost everything. In a collapse, you don't need a fortress, you need a delay system. For less than $100, you turn your home from an easy score into a nightmare target that criminals will pass right by. Now let's talk about mobility, because staying mobile means staying alive. Modern cars run on computer chips and are incredibly vulnerable to electromagnetic pulse events. The 2008 EMP Commission estimated that up to 90% of vehicles would stall permanently after a major EMP. The survivors will be the ones with a $150 mountain bike and the gear to keep it rolling. Bicycles don't need gas, they don't attract attention, and they move 3 times faster than walking while hauling 5 to 10 times the load. Add a cargo trailer, and you're hauling 100 pounds of supplies silently past roadblocks and checkpoints. In World War II, resistance fighters moved ammunition and intelligence by bicycle when trucks couldn't pass through military checkpoints. Today, less than 12% of Americans ride regularly, which means your neighbors won't even think to secure or maintain theirs. Stock up on tubes, patch kits, and chain lube, and your bike will outlast the collapse. In barter situations, a working bicycle is worth its weight in canned food. The immobile starve while waiting for help. The mobile trade, scout, forage, and thrive. Don't overlook this simple advantage. Here's something that reveals just how dependent we've become on electricity. Most people have forgotten how to use manual tools. When the grid falls, every single repair depends on them. Walmart sells hammers, saws, pliers, and screwdrivers dirt cheap, and these are the tools that will keep your home standing. Manual drills bore holes without power. Crowbars pry open doors or can serve as self-defense weapons. Hand planes and levels turn you back into a carpenter who can actually build things. During Hurricane Sandy, households with tools patched their roofs, boarded up windows, and built makeshift stoves from scrap metal. The ones without tools just sat there helplessly, waiting for someone else to fix their problems. But tools are more than survival equipment. They're currency. The person with a saw trades firewood for food. The one with pliers repairs plumbing and gets paid in whatever people have to offer. Batteries die, electronics fail, but steel lasts forever. Your $100 toolbox isn't just equipment, it's independence and leverage in a world where both are priceless. After an EMP, darkness is absolute. And here's what most people don't understand. Morale collapses faster than infrastructure when people are stuck in the dark. A $5 emergency candle pack burns for 100 hours, providing weeks of steady light. A $20 oil lamp with $8 worth of kerosene gives you reliable task lighting for months. Stash a crank-powered lantern in a Faraday cage, and you've got rechargeable, EMP-proof light whenever you need it. But light isn't just about vision, it's about psychology. In Kosovo, during the conflicts there, families with lamps maintained order and structure in their homes. The families stuck in darkness, they spiraled into despair, fighting, and chaos. Build blackout curtains to keep your light contained. Shield your lamps so you're not advertising to everyone outside that you have resources. Keep your light sources close and controlled. In barter situations, a single candle in week 3 of a blackout is worth more than gold because it represents hope, safety, and the ability to see threats coming. For under $50, you restore not just illumination, but hope itself. Now let's talk about EMP protection, because most people think you need expensive equipment to shield electronics from electromagnetic pulses. Wrong. A $6 roll of heavy-duty aluminum foil wrapped in 3 layers around your electronics and insulated with cardboard, then placed inside a steel tin, creates a Faraday cage that's been proven to protect against surges up to 50,000 volts per meter. But foil isn't just EMP defense, it's survival technology. Folded into drip pans for catching cooking grease.
Wrap meat in it and cook directly in campfire coals. Reflect heat from your fire directly onto food to cook it faster with less fuel. Line your boots or gloves with it to prevent frostbite. Use it to signal rescue aircraft, patch leaks in containers or roofs. In barter, foil sheets become priceless. For under $20, you've bought EMP protection, cooking gear, and thermal reflectors all in one. The people who mock preppers for stockpiling foil today will be begging for a single sheet when their radios and emergency equipment get fried. Here's a terrifying fact. Clean water disappears within hours after the pump shut off. World Health Organization data shows that 80% of post-disaster illnesses stem from contaminated water. A $3 jug of unscented bleach is bottled civilization in liquid form. The formula is simple but critical. 8 drops per gallon if you're using 5% bleach, 6 drops if it's 8.25%. Stir it thoroughly, wait 30 minutes, and you have safe drinking water. Get this wrong, and you could poison yourself. Get it right, and you've solved one of the biggest killers in any disaster scenario. But bleach does more than purify water. It sterilizes wounds, sanitizes toilets, and disinfects food prep surfaces. After Haiti's earthquake, cholera was spreading like wildfire until aid organizations flooded the area with bleach distribution. That single chemical stopped an epidemic cold. Here's the catch. Bleach expires. You need to rotate your supplies, label your bottles with purchase dates, and store them in cool places away from sunlight. For long-term storage, convert to calcium hypochlorite, pool shock, which lasts decades and can be mixed into bleach solution when needed. In barter situations, bleach becomes liquid gold because everyone needs clean water, and most people won't have thought ahead. Never, ever mix bleach with ammonia or vinegar. The chemical reaction creates toxic gas that can kill you in an enclosed space. That $5 jug is the line between life and dysentery. Treat it with respect. When phones and radios are dead, a $5 signal whistle becomes a lifesaver. 3 blasts is the universal distress call, and that sound carries over a mile in open terrain. Pair it with a $3 acrylic signal mirror, and you can flash sunlight up to 20 miles to signal rescue aircraft or distant observers. Add fluorescent survey tape and a permanent marker to your kit, and you can blaze trails, tag safe zones, mark contaminated areas, and leave messages for family members. In disasters, signaling is the difference between being found and being forgotten. At night, use glow sticks or reflective tape to mark paths and identify friendly locations. Signaling isn't just about rescue, it's about coordination with your family or community. In barter, whistles and tape are community-level tools that help organize larger groups. For under $20, you've bought the ability to communicate across distances when modern technology has failed completely. Here's something that will shock you. When the grid dies, GPS dies with it. Most Americans under 40 can't navigate without Google Maps. They're completely dependent on satellites and cellular data to tell them where they are and how to get anywhere. A $10 baseplate compass and paper maps make you the new navigator when everyone else is lost. Get topographic maps for your area. They reveal creeks, ridges, rail lines, and back roads that most people don't even know exist. Mark critical sites now before you need them. Water sources, hospitals, pharmacies, bridges, and alternate routes out of your area.
During Hurricane Katrina, survivors with maps escaped on back roads while the highways were parking lots. The ones without maps just waited, and many of them never left. Protect your maps in Ziploc bags or laminate them if possible. Train your family members to read them. Teach your kids how to use a compass. These are skills that used to be common knowledge and are now nearly extinct. In barter, a street atlas becomes worth canned food because the person who controls navigation controls the group. None of these items are theory or fantasy. They're proven gear that has saved lives in every blackout, hurricane, earthquake, and disaster in modern history. The difference between panic and leadership isn't luck, it's preparation. You have a choice right now. Walk past these items at Walmart like everyone else does, or stack them up methodically and know deep in your gut that you're ready when the grid blinks out. When the lights go dark, cheap stops being cheap, it becomes priceless. That cast iron skillet isn't cookware anymore, it's survival. That tarp isn't camping gear, it's shelter. That bucket isn't for mopping, it's civilization. Every single one of these items transforms from mundane to essential the moment normal life ends. Stay sharp, stay ready, because survival isn't about luck. It's about the decisions you make today, right now, before the crisis hits. Stock these 15 items, learn how to use them, and you'll be the person others turn to when everything falls apart. That's not just preparation, that's leadership. If this video opened your eyes to what real preparation looks like, smash that like button and subscribe to Crisis Horizon. We're here to give you the hard truth and practical knowledge you need to stay ahead of what's coming. Drop a comment and let us know which item you're grabbing first. Stay safe out there.